Hello, hello. You are listening to the Aligned Birth Podcast. I'm Dr. Shannon. I'm one of the hosts, and today we have a guest. It's interview day. You know, I love these days so much. And today we're talking with Casey McMinn Howard, and she is an Atlanta area photographer. She's Atlanta's most sought after maternity and newborn photographer, so providing high-end luxury experience for busy moms and dads. She's got the high-end maternity, newborn, and milestone photography studio in the Atlanta area. So she specializes in luxury portrait experience, start to finish, complete with professional hair and makeup, access to full wardrobe, and inventory of studio gowns. That's amazing. And professionally designed artwork hand delivered to the home. So she's also a wife married to her husband, Eric, and she's got 3 kiddos, so 6, 4, and 2. So I don't know, she's got her hands full. We'll just say that.
Yes.
But I'm so excited to have you on the show today, Casey, to talk about your aspect of photography. And I want to kind of get your thoughts and feels and why you're doing it and how you support families. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Yay. I know, Casey, this is nice because we've never met in real life. So we're meeting in Zoom. And this is the first time we're actually seeing each other, which is always fun when we do these interviews. Because I've had several people on where I'll be like, I only know you in social media land. But this is, it's nice to get to chat and talk about things. But I'm glad that you reached out to talk about lifestyle photography and newborn maternity, that aspect of things. So, why photography for you? How has this career come about?
Yeah. I've always loved photography, and it kind of all spawned during college. And then directly after college, I started really getting into it. I got a job at a corporate studio to just really explore my options and make sure this is really what I wanted to do for a living. And I just really love connecting with people. And, you know, of course, I started out photographing anything, you know, people would pay me for. So I was doing all the things at the beginning. This was a very long time ago.
But that's how you figure out what you really want to do. Now, did you study photography? Sorry to interrupt, but did you study photography?
No, you're fine.
In college?
Is that somewhat? Yeah.
Okay.
So that was going to be my direction, but I was kind of having a moment of like, do I really want to do this type thing? So I ended up getting a job at a portrait studio to kind of explore that more and realize that I really did love it. And then branched out eventually doing my own thing. And like I said, started doing weddings, anything, senior portraits, family pictures, really whatever people needed me to do. I didn't have like a certain niche back then. But then eventually over the years, I realized, you know, I really gravitated towards families and kids and babies. And as I, you know, so I have 3 kids of my own, and really through that whole experience, that just really solidified that I love photographing families, helping moms, and taking, you know, pictures of babies. So
I was about to ask, did having kids be like, oh yeah, I want to take pictures of these kids? So is that when you kind of started adding that into the photography mix?
Yeah, I always photographed families from the very beginning of time, but I think, you know, and I did start exploring newborn photography right before I started having kids, but then they kind of coincided with each other. So then it was just this fun unfolding of exploring how does newborn photography work, and, you know, realizing that I love it, but then also having my own babies and my own experiences with that. And that was, you know, the best memories of my life is having my babies. So I just really realized that I want to do this for other moms and capture these super important memories for them of, like, honestly, the best times of my best memories, you know, like I did photograph weddings long ago, and my wedding was fun and I liked that, but I could really relate to moms having babies. It's just,
and getting mom in the picture, because I feel like, you know, and I joke with this with my friends too, like we'll be on vacation, I'll be like, I have all these amazing pictures of my husband with like the kids, and I'm like, oh, this is a pretty angle and a pretty shot. I am not a photographer, but I'm like, I can do something with the sunset and a beach. But then you look and you're like, you get a picture of me and I'm like half eating a sandwich and I'm like, what is this? This is not. So I think it's important too for moms to be in the picture. And
It's so important.
so I don't know how you feel about that or what your goals are, if that's part of that goal with photography as well.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. I mean, me myself, just like in my personal life, I make it a point to like pass my phone or whatever we're using to my husband and be like, take some pictures of me with the kids, or, Christmas morning, like, don't forget about me, because it always does seem like I'll go back and look at, pictures from the past events or whatever we've been doing. And it's mostly all of them, right? Because that's what happens. Mom's always taking the pictures, but it is so important for the mom to be in the picture too, and to really, I think, as moms, like, we need to be in those pictures. It's important. You don't want to miss that chance. So, and I think, here at the studio, we really strive to make it such a stress-free experience for the mom, like, so that she doesn't have to worry about anything. She's going to come in and we're going to pamper her, because moms all need a little pampering time. We don't give ourselves enough of that at all, of, self-care. So, moms being in the picture is so important. And a lot of times they're like, oh, I don't know if I want to. I'm not, I don't love how I look right now after having a baby, or just how I look in pictures in general. I'm like, no, trust me, you're going to really appreciate doing this and being in these pictures. You're going to look back on it and be so thankful that you did. And also you're going to love the pictures. Like, there's no way that you're going to see them and be like, oh, I look terrible at these, because it's just, yeah, we have all the techniques and all the, we do everything to make you feel really great about yourself. And then, so you're taking really nice pictures too.
I know. I think that's good and important, like what you had said, as far as, getting mom in the picture, but like the pampering aspect, but also saying you want to capture this moment. So yes, your body has gone through a lot too. So I think it, it's kind of a way to say, okay, I made this baby and I birthed this baby. And so let's honor that. I know that can be tough though.
It is so tough, especially right after you've had the baby, especially maternity. My clients are not as hesitant about doing maternity pictures, because they're contacting me because they want to do that. But a mom right after she's had her baby is coming here to the studio 5 to 20 days after birth. So you're not necessarily feeling your best. You're very exhausted, So
capture that exhaustion. Yeah.
Yeah. We just really make it a point for when you come in here, we're going to take care of you. Like, have a moment of relaxation. They even get like an hour of hair and makeup where there's no kids around them, because they make dad take the older siblings and go do something. I have the newborn. I'm photographing the newborn in the room next door. The mom's just in here, actually in this space, getting hair and makeup done and just like taking a breather. It's so important.
Oh, I love the setup.
Time can really refresh you. You just need a little moments here and there to just keep your sanity, which is,
yes, and it really is those little moments.
You have to feel good, for your kids to be good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, what do you get asked most often about the newborn, or maternity shoots and that type of thing?
Probably the most important question is always timing. Like, when is the best time to take maternity pictures and the best time for newborn pictures? And I always say maternity is going to be best to do it 30 to 36 weeks is what I say. But really, I feel like, 33 weeks, around that point, is a really perfect time. It's when you've got a really nice baby bump. You're not too uncomfortable, because, pregnancy is a lot. You're getting super uncomfortable, especially the last month or so. So I always say 30 to 36 weeks, but I try and get the ladies in here around 33 or 34 is really the sweet spot.
I was gonna say that seems to be the sweet spot. Yeah.
And then newborn pictures, that's another very popular question, is when's the best time to photograph a newborn? And I always say 5 to 20 days, but really the sweet spot within that even particular time frame is going to be about 2 to 2.5 weeks. Because I love for, you to have the baby, go home from the hospital, have a week to really kind of adjust to having
that week is a blur.
baby,
Yeah, get to the blur week.
get a new baby and just kind of like relax and adjust, and then come to the studio about 2.5 weeks. It's perfect timing for the baby, and then mom's had a little bit of time to, kind of get her head screwed on a little as straight as you can after having a baby.
Yes.
I remember after having my first baby, I was just like in a blur for sure. But then baby number 2 and 3 came along, and I seemed to have a better handle on it. But yeah, for moms to come in here about 2.5 weeks, they seem to do pretty good with that. Mm-hmm.
Now, you also provide, because you said hair and makeup, but then like wardrobe aspects of things too. Because I know for me, that's always the big one. If I'm doing like family pictures, I'm like, well, it doesn't have to be like matchy, but my kids are 13 and 10 now. And so I'm like, not wear like sweatpants, like
exactly,
put on some like jeans or something. So, and that's a big, I feel like wardrobe can be a big stress part for moms. So how does that look for moms or families, or what does that offering look like?
Yeah. So I provide clothing for the entire family. So I have gowns for mom, shirts for dad. I just ask that the dad wear a nice pair of jeans or slacks. And then I have, whatever top is going to go for the day. And then all sorts of different sizes of toddler clothing or clothing for older siblings. And then of course, everything that the newborn would need is here. But I just love doing that because I've been on the other end of it too, where we get our family pictures taken, and picking out the outfits is stressful.
It's very stressful.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to go have to, it's time consuming, and it's a big chunk of money right there. So I just feel like providing that service and having everything here for families, especially for mom, it's just so much easier for the mom. And my family photographer that we see, she provides the clothing as well. And I just love that so much. So yeah, we just show up and she's like, here you go. And here's all your outfits. And that's exactly how I do it here at my studio too. So I have all different, sizes of all the clothes here. So really, I go ahead and like pull a few dresses for the mom, and I let her choose what she likes. And then I coordinate the other outfits depending on what she picks up. Yeah.
Depending upon what mom picks.
Yeah.
That sounds like a fun experience.
Yeah, it's so fun. And the dresses are very versatile. Like I have a lot of wrap dresses, and they're also very flowy. So just having a baby, obviously you don't really know what size you're going to be wearing when you come in, but we can make anything really big or smaller, however we need to go with all the dresses. So yeah.
Yeah. Now with the newborn photos, what kind of, do you ever have like people ask for specifics of like, oh, I would like, them in like a basket? And like my husband's a firefighter, so there's always a lot of families that have done like in the firefighter boot and stuff like that. So can families bring something, or how do you do the newborn photos? Do you have something in mind if mom's like, I have no idea, just want them like cute and squishy, something like that? So
yeah. Well, really everything that you see on my website is my particular style. And so I have everything all set up for you. You don't necessarily have to like have any ideas, but if there is something special that they want to incorporate like that, like what you were saying, then I'd love to do that too. So we do a whole phone consultation prior to the session, like weeks prior or months prior. So we can talk about details about the session day, if they have any special requests like that, we would add that in for sure. And I also will ask mom, like what colors she's doing in her home, what are the colors on her wall and her main living area, what's the nursery theme, all that good stuff. So I can incorporate those colors and themes into the portrait session. So then when they go and hang these up in their house, they're going to go perfectly. Yeah. But any special requests, like I love like you were saying, the firefighter, or I've had all sorts of things like that where they'll bring something special. And I love that because that just like makes it very special to you, So yeah.
Now
definitely request.
Yes, I love that. I love that you take their requests, but you also kind of alleviate the stress too, where it's like, okay, we can just come in for these newborn photos and you
Yeah.
can handle it all. So,
Oh yeah.
how does it work? So you said that you do that phone consult and then there's the sweet spot of time of things. So what does that look like in working with a family and when they reach out and how soon
Right.
get booked pretty early or what does that look like?
Yeah. Scheduling wise, and I was always really confused about this too before I had kids. I was always like, how do you schedule a newborn session if you don't know when the baby's going to be here? Exactly, you know? So how that works is um, you'll want to reach out in your second trimester and go ahead and secure your spot and basically so that your due date goes on my calendar. So then I have, I know that the baby will be here during around this time. And then I always let the mom know when the baby's born, just reach back out and let me know that they're here and we'll schedule the exact date for you to come into the studio 5 to 20 days after the birth. Yeah.
Okay, well that makes it
Yes.
easy, like
Yeah. So your due date goes
give
on my
me the
calendar.
estimate. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so, on my calendar, I have all these due dates. And that's basically how I only take a certain amount of due dates a month in order to accommodate everybody since, we're in the business where we don't know when the baby's really going to be here.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of kind of, moving around and like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Works with scheduling.
Yeah. And then I assume two people can get like if you just wanted the newborn photo, you can do that. Or if you wanted, a bigger aspect of like, okay, I want maternity and newborn or maternity, newborn, and
Yes.
then family, like adding all of those in. Is that an option?
That is definitely an option. They could do just the baby if they wanted to. But I always tell them if they're coming in to do the pictures anyways, that the parents and siblings may as well be in some pictures too, since you're coming here as it is. And then I always do suggest if they haven't already thought about, doing a maternity session with me, I think it's really great to do maternity and newborn with the same photographer. Because that's really nice. We get to meet each other at your maternity session, get to know each other really well. And then you know me, which is very important since I'll be handling your tiny little baby, in a few months. It's just for me, it's important that you know me and know who I am when you're gonna come in and hand over your baby to me. So I think maternity and newborn together is really good when you hire me to do both. But of course you can just do one or the other. That's fine too. We have plenty of time. We do the consultation call and everything. So you do get to meet me prior to the session, regardless via phone. But I think meeting in person is really nice too.
Yeah. And you got getting that relationship. So what would you say is your goal with some of the photo sessions? More, beyond like, yes, I want them to have this tangible moment in time and they can put this picture on their wall or something, but what else? Is there any kind of other bigger goals or meanings that you have with your photography?
I just want them to had like a really special memory of this time. And it honestly, it is so fun and super cute and sweet for the parents to sit and watch their newborn baby getting their pictures taken. It's just so cute. And it's something that they will always remember. So, I just want to make sure that people understand it's super important to get these pictures done when they're so little because you can't have that time back. And while I am a newborn photographer, when my oldest daughter is 6, so I was still kind of getting into this back then. And I'll say that I didn't go and get professional pictures of her, and I regret that so bad that I didn't do that. I took some of her by myself, but I wish that I would have us as a family gone and done them. So it's just really like something that you can never get back, and it's important, to have these family pictures and these sweet little moments together.
Yeah. And I know a lot of times us in the birth field do certain things or have certain tasks and things that we do because of, well, we experienced it and it went one way and we wish we had done something different, and not necessarily like in a bad way, but
Yeah.
that aspect of like, oh yeah, well, this is why I think it's so important. And I know what it is to not have this or to not have access to this or to not know about that. So
Yeah.
I think that's important too.
Yeah, for
with what you
sure.
were saying.
Mm-hmm.
What is what do you think that, I love the pictures of, this is what, my mom thinks I do, this is what society thinks I do, this is what I actually do. So what do you think, like, society thinks of what you do compared to like what you're really doing?
Yeah, I thought about that question, and it's just funny because a lot of times people really don't understand what goes into being able to create these pictures. I feel like they think, because a lot of times, well, I've gotten, photographers get comments. They're like, people will be like, "Wow, your camera takes really great pictures," and it's like, well, I and there's a lot of stuff going behind it. It's
There's
not the
more to it
operator,
than,
right?
yes.
Yeah. So I think a lot of times they just think I'm just, you just like you go to work and you click a button, and that there's so much more that goes into it. It's crazy. Hours
Yeah.
and hours of learning, and about posing and safety and lighting, and there's no way someone can just, like, you know sometimes, I mean, I love the dads, but I feel like a lot of times some dads in the past have been like, I could just do this.
Why do
Like,
we need professional
yeah,
photos, babe?
yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, no, don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Just come here. But yeah, I think maybe they just think I'm just clicking a button, and
It's
it's
more than that. Yeah, there's a lot
a
of
lot
behind the
more,
scenes. Do you
a lot of
do
learning.
the editing of photos as well too?
Yeah. So, um, well, actually now I do, like, I have hired out an editor that edits everything for me so I can spend more time taking pictures, but
But you do, that's like an aspect of the whole photography
oh, yes,
experience
yes.
is the
Yeah, I
editing.
don't
Yeah.
hand over, full finished pieces of art. So they're fully edited and retouched, and anything that needs to be done to them, for sure. Yeah. And
Okay.
I really appreciate my editor so much. Oh my gosh, that's a big chunk of time that I'm getting, she can take care of, and I can do other things that other people couldn't necessarily do for my business. So that's been really good to have her.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that it is more than just like the nice camera though. I remember my
Yes.
photographer friend, when I got, well, I don't even know what edition of the iPhone I have, but when, every time they come out, it's like a newer camera and it had the portrait mode. I remember that. And I was like,
which I
Jess,
love.
I know. I was like, I feel like you, but not quite you. She just laughed.
Yeah.
So there's definitely more
Though.
to it than that.
Yeah.
And then but then when you form that relationship with someone too, it can be easier in the photography process because you can feel awkward. You're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to sit. And that's where sometimes your photographer can come back, becomes like a family friend. Mine is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, kind of follows you through life. And then you can feel comfortable enough to like
Exactly.
take good pictures or like authentic, real looking pictures
Yeah.
that don't
You're
look too posed.
totally relaxed. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I do have a random question.
Yeah.
With you primarily do studio and studio only. So what led you to do studio rather than location pictures?
So I did start out shooting on location whenever I first started my business years ago. That's how it all started. Was I would go and travel to different locations to take, family pictures for people or senior pictures, whatever was going on back then. So I was traveling location to location, or when I started getting into, like, thinking I want to do newborns, I was traveling. I was a traveling newborn photographer. So I would travel to clients' homes, bring all my stuff, set it up in their house, take their pictures. And that it's just a lot to travel with all
It's
of
a
your.
lot.
If I
Yeah.
could show you across the whole of my studio, there's so much in there. You would be like,
But
I
we're
mean,
just taking pictures, but it's like,
literally my car would, you'd open the trunk of my car and it would just, and I had a Yukon. It was a big vehicle and it was flat full of all of these props. So I'm like, traveling to everyone's homes to take pictures of their babies. And it's just, it's so much easier to be here in the studio. And it's really nice because I can create this really one of a kind experience. I have everything here for the moms. So, and the families, I did start out shooting on location. And I think that's how a lot of photographers start. We just start with what can we do now that's
right.
free, I don't have to buy all this lighting equipment. So it was good while it lasted, but I did realize that being in a studio, I just love the look of studio portraits too. And having a lighting system has been really nice for me, and being able to have everything here for families and parents.
That is much
Yeah.
easier. I know. I had a
Yeah,
feeling that was
for
kind of like
everybody.
that big drive. But yeah, I was going to say that's like easier for
Mm.
everybody, and you don't
because
have to
then
worry
like
about weather aspects of things too.
no weather aspects, and like, the mom's not having to worry about cleaning up her house before I get there to,
Mhm.
pick up a little bit. So I think it's better for everyone. And I
Yes.
always tell the parents if they seem a little bit stressed about traveling over here that literally like they don't have to do anything. Just you can show up in your PJs. I'm not even kidding, because I have all the clothes here, and we'll do your hair and makeup and give you the clothes. So like, don't worry about it. It's not that stressful at all, really. You just
Yeah.
put the baby in the car, come over, we'll take care of you.
That's so good. What is something, do you ever run into like common issues, problems, or anything like that in what you do and how you, support families with the photography?
Common issues. You mean like,
Yeah, do you ever run into anything with, or it could even be just the people, we even talked about like the hesitancy with doing the photography pictures, and as far as like the newborn and maternity photos, do you ever have people that are just that super hesitant with it or anything like that?
I think, well, like I was saying, some, but not a lot are hesitant about, packing up after they just had a baby and heading out to
Yeah.
the studio. That's really the only hesitancy. Um, and and then there's also families that already have older siblings in the picture, which are typically, if it's a newborn session, the older siblings are typically like toddler age,
Mm-hmm.
2 years old, if that, 2 to 3. So I think the mom is very hesitant about how is this really going to go, already having,
Yeah. It's
it's
that like the
child who
scheduling of
it's
it.
the scheduling time, and then also it also seems to be like the age where it's kind of a toss up of like, you go out into public with your toddler, how's it going to go, that kind of a thing.
Yes. Yeah.
I have 3 kids. So yeah, that's really their only hesitancies. But like I said, everything is here for them. They don't have to even get ready, and I'll clothe everybody. And I will say that I'm I don't want to be like I'm bragging, but I just want to say I'm very, very good with kids and toddlers. I have lots of silly, funny tricks to get them to just unwind and not even realize that they're taking pictures. Like they think that we're playing games. I had this little boy years ago. He was so cute. We were done taking pictures, and he's like, "Excuse me, when are we gonna play some more games?" I'm like, "So much." Like, he just took a bunch of pictures. Yeah, but it's like so stress free for the parents, and I don't want moms to worry about having the toddler sibling in the pictures
Having to
because
parent too. Yeah. It's kind
yeah,
of, that can
I
be
just tell her
stressful.
like, you sit back and relax, and if you just kind of like, let me take the lead. I think a lot of times kids will listen better, kind of if mom sits back just a little bit, and just lets me kind of play with the kid and do games with them and stuff.
Yeah. To get them used to
But
you as well. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I know my kids are better for other people than than they are for me, and
Mm-hmm.
that's hopefully that's not just me, but
No, it's not. I know. I always have to prep them too beforehand. I'm like, y'all, we're going
yes,
out in public. And I
Yeah.
still do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
I love it. If you feel comfortable, did anything in your birth experience kind of influence what you do? And I know we chatted a little bit about, you knew you wanted to do photography and then figuring out along the way that it really was
Mhm.
more of the families, but and some of the things I know you wish you had done with photography with your first, but did
Yeah.
anything with your birth actually kind of influence how you approach when you work with these families and how you got into what you do?
Yeah. I would say, I mean, like you said, the fact that when I mentioned I didn't do newborn pictures with my oldest, I really regret that. I do let people know that, like, this is why you miss out. But with my birthing experiences, I just feel very strongly that this is such an important time to photograph precious little baby that you've birthed, because it doesn't always end. It can be, a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
have miscarriages, a lot of people, and I know a lot of women do. And actually, like, I had several, like, that might be TMI, but from going through that, it just really makes you want to hold on to the moment. Like, this baby is here. Let's celebrate this child. And just kind of look past all that. But yeah, I can relate to
Yeah, no, I think
a
that's
lot of
what we said
what
because
moms are going through
well,
that they
yeah,
don't
a
really
lot
want to
of
talk about either.
because it
Um,
can be, I'm sure you deal with that with some families where
yeah,
it's been a struggle, it's been a journey, and most of the
yeah,
women I deal with in the office have experienced some sort of miscarriage, stillbirth, loss, or something along those lines.
right.
So I think
It's
it's
so
important for you to
common.
kind of say, okay, this is, I'm coming at it from this angle, and
Yeah,
understanding what they're
from
going
my
through.
actual experiences. Right. Yeah. And I think it's important too, just me having gone through all of, like, those things, but also just being a mom in general. I have a lot of new moms coming in. And I'd say probably 80% of the families are new moms. And I just love to be able to make them feel comfortable. Like, they seem, as I was too, very stressed out about. I can feel their stress. Um, and so I share my experiences with them. I let them know you know, if they're talking about whatever, like, oh, well, if that's not helping you, then maybe you could try this. This is what I did for my kid. Might not work for you, but just want to let you know. Like, I'm
Yeah.
very experienced and love to give them any kind of advice if they're looking for it. It's not just about taking the pictures. I mean, I've spent a lot of time just, like, sitting down and talking to clients that they just seem like the mom seems really stressed. One day I hand deliver all the products to my clients' homes, and I brought this woman. She's a single mom. I brought her all of her artwork, and I came in and I'm like, how's it going? And she's like, honestly, not so good. I'm like, what's wrong? And she said, I don't know. I just thought maybe yesterday I should call my doctor because I just don't know what to do. And she was very stressed out. And obviously, a lot of times after you have a baby, you just get taken over by a postpartum. And so I sat down with her for like 30 minutes and we kind of talked about everything. And she just, like, unloaded on me. And I love that because sometimes people need that. So it's just important. I think that I myself am a mom of three. I've been through the thick of it. And, it's more than just taking pictures for me. Um, I want to help you to get through life. Like, we all have to help each other.
Yeah. Aw, I love it. I love that. And that kind of goes into even some of my like other questions I wanted, to ask. You
Yeah.
kind of touched on
Okay.
everything there though, but that's good because it really is what I wanted to kind of highlight as well too, is that it can be more than just pictures, because
Right.
there is more, there's a lot more to it. And there can be those
Yeah,
stories behind the pictures.
for sure.
So I think that's really, I don't know, I think that's kind of cool. Now
Yeah.
where, um, where can people connect with you and find you and those type of things?
Okay. So my website is www.caseymcminnphotography.com. It's CASEYMCMINN photography.com. That's the easiest place to go. It has all the information you could ever imagine that you might need. So CaseyMcMinnPhotography.com, but also on Instagram and Facebook, I'm on there as well. Just Casey McMinn Photography. So
Yay!
find
Perfect.
me
And we'll
everywhere.
link,
Yes.
yes, exactly. I know, like in all the common places that, we are when we have our
Yeah.
businesses.
Yeah.
But we'll link everything in the show notes too. So
Okay.
I'll link to the website and all of your things. But anything else that you wanted to, maybe that we didn't cover today, or anything else that you wanted to chat about?
I don't think so. This is
Yay!
great. Yeah.
Yeah, just a
Yeah.
fun little conversation. I know. I
Yeah.
wanted people to kind of understand a little bit more of like the behind and the why for the photography. And so hopefully
Yes.
people will reach out. I will say your
Thank
website
you.
is gorgeous. The
Oh,
pictures
thank
on
you.
there are stunning. So I really want people to kind of check them out, because I know we talk about it and you think, studio and what can it look like, but you really got to look at them. So they're
Thank
very,
you.
very beautiful. So
You're
yes. All right,
sweet.
my friend. Well, thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining me on the show today.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day.
You too.
Thanks. Bye.